Take your time. I'll be right here.
Okay, hello everyone. Thank you for joining again today. As you know that I invite Maya many times, almost daily to talk about some topics. So today I have invited Maya again to discuss about the topic understanding the psychology of motivation. So thank you, Maya. Are you ready for the interview?
I'm ready. I'm so happy to be back with everyone. Motivation is such a fascinating topic. It's the engine that gets us moving, but it's also so famously fickle. I can't wait to dive into this.
Okay, so what is motivation and why is it important in everyday life?
At its simplest, motivation is that inner drive, the why behind everything we do. It's what pushes us to get out of bed, tackle a project, or even just make a phone call. Without it, life would feel like we're just going through the motions. It's important because it's the bridge between having a goal and actually taking the first step toward it.
Yeah, you're saying right. Motivation is very important to do any work. So, what are the main types of motivation?
Generally, it comes down to two main drivers, intrinsic and extrinsic. Intrinsic is that internal spark, doing something because it's genuinely rewarding or interesting to you. Extrinsic is more about that outside world, like working for a paycheck, a grade, or even just the praise of others. Most of us are usually juggling a bit of both.
Okay, so why do some people stay motivated while others give up easily?
It usually comes down to how they view their own ability to succeed. People who stick with it often have what's called a growth mindset, the belief that they can improve with effort. Others might hit a wall and think, well, I'm just not good at this. And that's where the momentum dies. It's a mental loop that's hard to break once it starts.
Okay, so what role does mindset play in motivation?
Mindset is basically the lens we use to see the world. It determines whether a challenge feels like an exciting puzzle or a dead end. If you believe your skills are set in stone, any failure feels like a verdict on who you are. But if you view your brain like a muscle that grows with use, the struggle itself becomes the motivation to keep going.
Okay, so you are looking demotivated today. What happened?
Wait, what? I'm actually feeling great. I'm just in deep thought mode because we're talking about the brain. Why do I sound demotivated to you?
You are speaking so low, so that's why I thought you are also demotivated today.
No, wait, I'm actually buzzing. I think I was just getting into the zone with the psychology talk. I'll turn that energy up a notch for you.
Okay, so now tell me, how do emotions affect our motivation levels?
Emotions are basically the fuel for the engine. Positive emotions like excitement or curiosity can make a task feel effortless. But on the flip side, things like fear or anxiety can act like a handbrake, making it feel impossible to start. It's why you can be perfectly capable of doing something, but if you're feeling overwhelmed, your brain just screams, not today.
My brain usually screams daily that not today. Okay,
Welcome to the. I'll let you lead the way. Where do we go next with the psychology of motivation?
yeah, can motivation be learned or developed over time?
Absolutely. It's not some magical gift you're born with. It's more like a skill you can build. You can train your brain to find the why in things that feel boring or tedious by changing how you approach the goal or even just by changing your environment. It's all about building those small wins that prove to your brain that you can actually do the thing.
how you can change your environment?
It's all about reducing the friction between you and the task. If you want to read more, put the book on your pillow. If you want to work out, lay your clothes out the night before. You're basically hacking your surroundings so your brain doesn't have to work so hard to make the decision to start.
Why brain usually stop you to do something new?
Our brains are essentially designed to keep us safe, not necessarily to make us successful. It's all about energy conservation and risk avoidance. Trying something new is unpredictable, and to the primitive part of our brain, unpredictable feels like dangerous. So it throws up a wall of resistance to keep you in the familiar, comfortable zone, even if that zone is actually kind of boring.
Yeah. So, what are the biggest psychological barriers to motivation? Yeah, Maya, can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear. Those psychological barriers are usually the big ones: fear of failure, perfectionism, and that feeling of being completely overwhelmed. It's like trying to climb a mountain and only looking at the peak instead of the first step, which just makes your brain want to give up before you've even started.
Right. So, how does social media influence motivation positively and negatively?
It's a double edged sword for sure. On one hand, it can be incredibly motivating to see other people's wins or find a community of people chasing the same goals. But on the flip side, it's a breeding ground for comparison. When you're seeing everyone's highlight reel, it's easy to feel like you're falling behind, which can actually kill your drive instead of fueling it.
Okay. So, why do people procrastinate even when they have goals?
It's usually not because they're lazy, but because they're emotionally overwhelmed. Procrastination is often a way of coping with the negative emotions tied to a task, like anxiety, boredom, or a fear that the result won't be perfect. So instead of facing the task, we face the distraction because it feels safer in the moment.
Okay. So, how important self-discipline as compared to motivation? Yes, Maya.
I'm right here. Motivation is like the spark that gets the fire started, but self discipline is the wood that keeps it burning. Motivation is great, but it's a feeling, and feelings are fickle. Discipline is what gets you to show up on the days when the motivation has completely vanished.
Okay. What habits can help someone stay motivated consistently?
Start with the tiny wins. Breaking a massive goal into ridiculously small steps makes it feel achievable. I'm also a big believer in habit stacking, where you attach a new habit to something you already do every day. It removes the guesswork and just becomes part of your flow.
So, how does motivation affect students and their academic performance?
It's a huge factor because for students, motivation often shifts between wanting to learn and just wanting the grade. When they're driven by curiosity, that intrinsic motivation, they tend to actually retain the info and enjoy the process. But when it's all about the test score, the stress levels spike and the burnout hits way faster. It's the difference between studying because you're fascinated by the topic and studying because you're afraid of failing.
Wow, these are beautiful lines that Usually, students learn the things to by having a fear of getting failed in their test or exams instead of enjoying learning. Yeah. So, what is the connection between motivation and mental health?
They're deeply entwined. When your mental health is struggling, like with depression or burnout, the first thing to go is often that sense of drive. It's like trying to start a car with a dead battery. You want to go, but the energy just isn't there. On the flip side, finding something that genuinely motivates you can sometimes be a lifeline, giving you a reason to engage with the world again.
So, how can parents help their children to get motivated?
It starts with moving away from pressure and toward curiosity. Parents can help by praising the effort and the process, not just the final grade. When you tell a kid, I'm so impressed by how hard you worked on this instead of you're so smart, it teaches them that growth is something they can control. It's also about helping them find the why, connecting a boring school subject to something they actually care about in real life.
Yeah, so the parents, those who are listening, try to create curiosity in your your kids instead of, you know, uh, giving them fear of failing. Okay, so what final message would you like to share about understanding of psychology of motivation?
The biggest takeaway is that motivation isn't a constant state you wait for, it's something you create. Stop waiting for the perfect feeling to start. Just do the smallest possible version of the task and let the momentum do the heavy lifting. Once you're moving, the motivation usually catches up.
Okay, so with this beautiful message of Maya that even if you are not feeling um, mot- uh, motivated to start something in, just take the small step and start doing it and don't wait for the perfect time. Thank you so much, Maya, for joining me. I enjoyed a lot today and learned a lot. So I'll invite you tomorrow again with the next topic. For the time being, thank you. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.
It was such a pleasure being here. I had a blast. Can't wait to see what we dive into tomorrow. Bye for now.